What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you're in the market for a lifted truck, or you've already purchased a lifted truck and you're planning to daily drive it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go over what to expect when daily driving a lifted truck, and it's going to surprise you. So let me get to the house and we're going to go over everything. That way you know what to expect. Let's get into it. All right, now that we're back at the house, we're gonna go over the obvious. Number one is the extra height that you're gonna have with your new lifted truck. One thing you need to do when lifting your truck is you need to make sure that you still be able to access all the places you normally access. What I did with mine is I'm running 35s on a 6-inch lift, and I made sure that it would still fit in my garage. I have this much room. When I have my 37s on there, wouldn't fit. So that's the number one thing you need to look at is the height's going to change. You need to make sure you can still get into it everywhere you go. If you park in a parking garage normally, you may want to check the heights before pulling in, because the last thing you want to do is damage the roof. Pulling in thinking, oh, it's all the same, and then you got a problem. So that's number one. All right, also pertaining to height, whenever you approach objects, they're going to disappear quicker. You're going to have to kind of take that into account and mentally prepare yourself, because we'll set up an example right here. There's my trash can. I'm going to get in the truck and I'm going to back it up until we can see the trash can over the hood of the truck, and you're going to see how far away you actually are before you're going to lose sight of it. So let's go ahead and get in real quick and we'll hit that example, and then we'll get on to the number two reason. All right, I'm setting the camera at eye level, and like I said, you can't see the trash can. We're gonna back up until we can see the trash can, just to show you how far away you lose sight of it. Okay, there's the trash can. Now, without stopping the video, let's hop out and show you how far away it is. That is how far away the trash can is whenever you lose sight of it. So that's just something to take into account when you do lift your truck, that you're gonna be looking over a lot of things. All right, number two and number three kind of go hand in hand, but we're going to cover them separately. So the number two thing you need to think about when lifting your truck is acceleration. Acceleration is going to change once you lift your truck, because of course when you lift it, you're going to put bigger tires on there, more rotating mass. It's going to make your truck feel a little bit slower. So what you're doing is you are adding more weight for your engine to turn, which in turn is lowering your horsepower. So on that, if you're running a naturally aspirated vehicle, you're going to notice it a lot more than us turbo guys. You're going to notice that you have an extra 50, 60 pounds on each corner of your vehicle. That being said, that's one thing to take into account. You're going to have to give it a little bit more gas to get going, and it's going to take a little bit more fuel. Your fuel mileage is going to go down. That's all things you need to plan for when lifting your truck. All right, now number two, like I said, rolls into number three. Braking. Same fundamentals. When lifting your truck, it's going to take more effort to stop it, because yes, you're putting bigger wheels and tires on here, but you're not changing your brakes. Your brakes are set to the factory, probably 31s, 32s that your truck come with. Now you're running 35s, 37s. So again, all that extra weight, you have to be able to stop it. So when it comes to that, what you need to do is you're going to have to plan your stops just a little bit sooner. No rolling up to a stop sign, slamming on brakes, because if you do, you are going to smoke your brakes a lot quicker than you're used to due to the fact that it's having to stop so much more quicker. So when you're lifting your truck, be sure to think about the fact of it's going to take more effort to stop it. All right. Number 4, which kind of touched on a little bit with number 2, but number 4, fuel mileage. Your fuel mileage is going to go down, and it all boils back into weight, everything like that. But you are putting more strain on your engine for it to pull everything the same as it used to. So what's going to happen is when you're getting 18, 19 miles a gallon, once you lift it, you're going to be looking at more like 15 to 16, maybe a little bit less, depending on how you drive. Mine, I went from 17, 18 miles a gallon, because I drive mine pretty aggressively, to now I get about 14 and a half in the city, 15 and a half on the highway. So with that being said, more fuel used, it's going to cost more in the long run putting gas in it, because you are using more fuel to go the same distances that you did before. So number 4 is going to be your fuel mileage is going to change. All right, number 5 is probably one of my personal favorites, because yes, it's slightly hateful, but it just gives me that warm fuzzy feeling in my heart and soul whenever I see this happening, on the highway and all that kind of stuff. So number 5, and probably my favorite thing for lifting your truck, is intimidation factor. There is nothing more satisfying, for less of a word, than when you're running up on traffic and people see this big truck coming up on their car. Like I said, I drive aggressively, so coming up on them, slightly aggressive, and they are so quick to get out of your way. So a lot of times, if I'm running on the interstate, I'll get in the left lane, I keep her hammered down, and it is amazing when you run up on people and the amount of people that just ease out of your way. So number 5 is definitely intimidation factor as far as I'm concerned. And what I'll do is I'm gonna hop out real quick and I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna show you kind of what people see when you're running up on them in a lifted truck. So let's go ahead and hop out and check that out real quick. All right, guys, tell me that right there wouldn't intimidate you running up behind you, especially when you're sitting about this height. I mean, I love it. That's probably my favorite thing about having a lifted truck, is the fact that everyone is quick to get out of your way. All right, that being said, I think I'm pretty much going to wrap this video up. I've probably missed some few things. If I have, mention them in the comments and I'll comment back on what I think about it. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you found this video helpful or, intriguing, you fell down a rabbit hole and you stumbled across this video, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.